Okay, this lesson will cover arrays. It's a kind of data structure that represent collection of same types of data. So that instead of dealing with the multiple values with the multiple variables, you can deal with one, what we call it as a reference variable. For multiple values, you can refer to it. So here, most important thing is it is data structure. Then it's collection of same types of data. Most important thing is same types. So if we have a series of integers, there will be integers, or characters, or doubles. You cannot mix up. Let's begin with the idea of variable and the array reference variable. When we say int a equal to 10, in our memory block, that small rectangles reports the memory block has value 10. And then we create another memory block called B with initial value 0. Then next statement we change the value to be 20. So initially we have a 0. Again, same memory block for the next statement. We assign new value 20. So for example, we have values 10 and 20. We need two variables. Array can actually help us to put those two values together. Then we can refer to it. So we have, let's say, 3 integer values or a series of integer values. One reference variable can refer to those 3 series of values. Let's say array reference variable, we call it as AA, same as variable. Actual value is 1020, sorry. So we say AA, instead of variable, we say something more specific, array reference variable. So in this case, we have 3 values. We call it as elements. You may consider in mathematics for set. So set A, you have a 10, 20, 30. And then we say that set A has 3 elements. Same idea applied to a single dimensional array. So the first one, we have integer value 10. So we say array elements at index 0. So location of each element, we can refer to that using index value. So first element is stored in index 0. Second one is index number 1. Next one is 2. Most important thing is index start with the 0 and then continue with the sequential number. So when you reverse to number 10, we can say array reference variable with index that returns number 10, which is index variable. Or we can say that we can reverse to integer value 10 using index variable AA brackets and then index value 0 inside. Let's create the int sum equal to 0. So we can reverse to AA0 plus AA1, so that it means we are referring to value 10 plus 20. So sum becomes 30. That's 20. So here that will become 30. So as we can see, instead of using two variables a and b, we can use array reference variable, doing exactly the same thing. Simple calculations. So let's look at the syntax to declare array and then array variables. So main idea of array is you can say data type like int whatever, and then array reference variable, you can name it. We are using brackets, name as AA. So we just create the array variable, what I call is array reference variable, AA. It does not refer to any data structure yet. So next step, creating array. It's a continue from previous line, array reference variable equal to new keywords, and then data type, and then array size. So what happens here, array reference variable, and then new keywords that will construct the object based on same data type with that size of array. In this case, we are looking at 3 elements in array AA. So with that syntax, we can use the same examples, AA. Now AA refers to new data structure using same data type called double. Array elements we are going to have B. Again, it's the same thing. Array reference variable now refers to data structure with 3 elements, happen to be all double data type. So the equal sign means the array reference variable now point to new data structure with three elements in it. So again, double's default value is 0.0. So initially it has a 0.0 each space. Okay, next example is can we declare and create a array in one step? Of course we can do that. So if I use the same example, double brackets, I will change to that one as a data type, and then new data type, and then array size. That's the syntax we have. If I rewrite the previous example, it will be look like this: double bracket AA, new and double, array size 3. So we can use a two statement, or we can use a single statement. So that's the step 1, there's the step 2, or you can use only one step. So let me look at the 0.0. So can we change to new value? Again, it's the same, AA0, index value 0. We can say 10.0. So that particular location we change to new double value 10.0. Let's look at the length of the array. Because when we process array, let's say 10, 20, 30, we need to know the size of array so that we can repeat 3 times in this case. So you can use array reference variable dot and then length. That's the constants will return value 3. That's the size of array, saying that it has three elements in array AA. So we can refer to that array elements. There are 3 of them. Using AA.length, it will return the size of array. That is important when you process array. Again, we can declare arrays with shorthand rotations. It means you can construct the array and you can assign the value together. So what we call it is creating arrays in one step. So say double brackets AA new. This time we are using curly brackets, and then list 3 elements with a separator comma. So we have 3 elements in array reference variable AA. So if I visualize it, again the same visuals. Most important thing is we are using curly brackets here. So here AA, array reference variable, can refers to data structure that has 3 elements with a double data type. First one is 10.0. Second one is 20.0. Last one is 30.0. Okay, let's look at another example here. When you process array, we can refer to indexed variable called AA0 that actually changed to 20. So instead of 10.0, we assign new value 20 here. So important thing is index start with 0, and then next elements we start. We have index number 0, and then 1, and then 2. So 3 elements means we have index up to 2, not 3. So if we try to do this, AA3 equal to 40, that doesn't exist here. So if we visualize it, let me make a bit of an adjustment here. According to AA3 40 and 0, we are referring to elements number 3 with the index value 3, but that doesn't exist. So what happens is it's going to return what we call as an error, array index out of boundary exceptions. We are trying to referring to elements that does not exist within an array, that is outside the array boundary. Let me move this one to left hand side. So that's the exception we have. You may consider this particular case as a special error, saying that something does not exist, we try to process it here. That cannot be done. So let me just say that AA3 does not exist. That's very common logic error when you process the array. Okay, let's look at the example with actual coding. Okay, Java application, sorry. We are still dealing with a single dimensional array or one dimensional array. So let me go through syntax one by one, and something you need to know to process array. So let's say declaring array variable. Sorry, it should be array reference variable. I often say array variable that refers to array reference variable. So we have a data type, array reference variable called AA. Now we are going to create array AA new same data type double, and then size I will say 3. So array reference variable AA can refer to 3 elements in array AA. Because we did not assign any value, we will return default value 0.0 for double data type. So let's look at index variable. Also, we can assign a new value using indexed variable. So if we say AA0, the first elements can be referred to by using AA0. So we'll print it out 0.0. We can assign the new value 10.0 with the equal signs. That is assignment. Then we can print, let's say 3 elements, index 0 and 1 and 2. Don't forget there are 3 elements. The first element starts with the index 0, second elements start with the index 1, and then last elements end up with the index value 2, not 3. Second element, and then that refers to the elements. So initial value 0.0, we change the value 10.0. Second and third elements again default value 0.0. Let me add the series of numbers 10, 20, 30. So that's how you use indexed variable when you assign new value. So I'll give you a very short example, sum of those 3 elements. We can use index variable AA0, 1 and 2. That refers to 10.0 plus 20.0 plus 30.0. That's how you process 3 elements in array. So 60. Let's look at the length of array. Array reference variable, and we use the constant called length. I know it's not capitalized, but that is actually constant. So if we print it on console, it's going to say number 3, refers to 3 elements. So array size is 3 here. Okay, the basic things done here. Let's look at a different way of declaring array. We are going to use shorthand rotation here. So if you know the actual values you need for array, you can use the shorthand rotations. For example, here array BB has let's say 40, 50, 60. If you know the actual elements with the values at the beginning, you may prefer to use the shorthand rotations. So let me just change and then see how it works. It's supposed to be exactly the same, but just different way of declaring and then creating and then initializing array. So I will print different values, but it's going to be the same array size, which is 3 elements. So 40, 50, 60, add that together. The first one is, of course, is 0. So BB refers to 40, 50, 60, add them together 150, and size is still same, 3 elements. So it is useful if you know actual value for your array elements at the beginning. Again, you can still change with the new values using index variable. If you look at all source code or all textbooks, there's a slightly different notations, which is old school to declare array in Java. So the bracket is next to array reference variable at the beginning. It is not with data types. So that's nothing wrong. It still works. That was the old syntax. We prefer to use the new syntax. So the first bracket is next to data type. So it works exactly the same. Let me quickly demonstrate. Because there are many the Java source code already out there, you should be able to read all the syntax so that you can do what you need to do. That seems like a 240. Again, there are 3 elements. Yes, this syntax looks a bit strange, but that's the old array syntax. Again, 70, 80, 90. Then sum of those 3 numbers, 240. Again, array size still number 3. Just get familiar with the syntax. Again, with all syntax, you can still use shorthand rotations, say double, A, C, C, and then new and double. So that can be done too, which is not preferred. Let me just point out one more thing, index out of boundary exceptions means you are trying to access the elements that does not exist. So if you're looking at here, false elements that does not exist in array structure CC. So let me quickly show you what kind of error you can see on screen. So you have 3 elements, you are trying to access false elements, which does not exist. So it says array index out of boundary exceptions. So 3 elements are inside the array, false elements are not inside, or it does not exist. That's all, thank you.